everyone, thank you for coming to my speech today. Today we will talk about the importance of sharks in our ecosystem and why we should protect them. What was believed to be the most dangerous and unstoppable animal on our planet has been keeping us alive this whole time. Despite over 30 years of awareness efforts, people don't understand or care that many shark species are on the verge of extinction. The truth is that they're a key part in both our wildlife economy, our environment, and our global financial economy. Yet they're a victim of our carelessness and ignorance. As an apex predator, they directly conduct population. Without them, severely long chain of events unfolds that includes losing medicine, skincare products, billions of dollars, tourist spots, the abilities to travel through the seas, and restaurants. We can even become more prone to heart conditions or suffer a level of physical damage from waves and or currents we could only imagine in a movie. With the help of Griffith in their online article with the Oceana Organization, Why Healthy Oceans Need Sharks, published in September 2009, if sharks were to go extinct, the human race would face $3.5 billion in yearly revenue loss worldwide. An unpredictable number of extra deaths yearly, the worsening of global warming, and $2 billion in annual damage to property and economic activity. Sharks eating the things they prey upon leads to certain underwater species being unable to dominate the environment, ultimately protecting the coral reef and their entire ecosystem. That ecosystem does more for us than you can possibly know. There are really two major things we need to identify. According to the EPA in their second article, Basic Information About Coral Reefs, and Carrie B's Stanford Research article published in May 2014, coral reefs provide protection from storms and rising sea levels. First, 59% of sharks on the red list are vulnerable or on the verge of extinction. Along with their extinction could be the coral reef system, which is already heavily endangered. Coral reefs attract many fish, lobsters, and turtles. Along with that comes lots of work for fishermen and millions to billions of annual income for tourist spots, such as scuba diving in the Philippines. The creatures who live in the coral reefs also have health benefits, not just for other vegetation, but for us as well. Lobsters, for example, have essential vitamins and amino acids that can help us with weight loss, brain functionality, and decreasing our blood pressure. Coral reefs also absorb 97% of all energy of waves crashing and rocking, meaning tsunami impacts or travel by boat are impacted by coral simply existing. All of those things become an issue without sharks. Even worse than all that, we still don't know the full depth of it. Without sharks, many sharks die accidentally by being caught in commercial nets. But like COVID deaths, there's no standardization for how we report those casualties. As terrible as that sounds, there's more to the story. According to Angelica Puyen in their article published in May 2014 with the WWF, overfishing and bycatch of European sharks and rays put ocean health in jeopardy. Obviously, more shark deaths are intentional. Although it's technically been banned in many places around the world, that alone doesn't stop sharks from being hunted for their meat, fins, or body oils. This isn't even out of necessity, as the primary countries who take part in this have a huge diversity of fish to choose from. In addition to that, sharks are 10 to 15% carbon, meaning when they die outside of the water, that emission makes global warming even worse. This black market activity is all especially dumb when you learn about spotting a single shark at a tourist destination for scuba diving can generate millions of dollars a year for those communities. As mentioned before, there are no rules for how we report sharks that die by catching. Without a proper understanding of exactly how bad these contribute to the rapidly deceasing shark population, we won't know how aggressively this problem is. Thankfully, though, hope isn't quite lost for our slippery friends. According to the U.S. Department of Commerce in their July 2011 article with Ocean Today organization, Endangered Ocean Sharks, since fishing and hunting are probably the biggest contributors to killing sharks, we need regulation. Documentaries like The Cove are an example. So by actually enforcing these laws that ban certain practices and by creating closely followed restrictions on commercial fishing, we can cause a massive impact on preventing the chains of events that shark extinction could cause. Even with the blow of that entire industry, 70% of Americans eat seafood, so they can support their local fishermen. Next, by standardizing a more accurate way of recording and reporting when sharks or other animals die as a result of bycatching, we can have a realistic idea of how big of a problem that is. By doing these two things, we can keep our dietary options in mind. By keeping sharks alive, we would protect the coral reefs and other sea vegetation along with many key species that depend on them. Sharks being a top predator means that small predators have to learn to move to other habitats, thus helping those habitats in the process and preventing a downward spiral unlike humans have ever seen before. So without sharks, we would be more than broke. We would live on a hotter planet. Scuba diving would be a waste of money. Waves would crash everywhere. And all this can be prevented through regulation and standardization. So if you learn nothing else, remember that without sharks, waves would grow as so strong that we'd lose anime and Korean barbecue forever. Thank you guys for coming.